Imagine trying to buy a steak, but the machine says no because your personal carbon footprint for the month has already been exhausted. This isn't a scene from a dystopian movie. It is the final update to the global operating system that began in 1913. The transition from paper to digital wasn't for your convenience. It was to remove the only thing that gave you true privacy: cash. When your wealth is nothing but a flickering light on a centralized server, you don't own it. You are merely being granted a temporary license to use it. The architects who sunk the resistance in the Atlantic are now preparing to sink the very idea of private property. They are calling it the CBDC, central bank digital currency, but its real name is the digital leash. Think back to the gold you once owned, then the paper they gave you in exchange, and now the code they want to trap you in. Every time you swipe, tap, or click, a data point is sent to a room you aren't allowed to enter. They know what you eat, where you go, and most importantly, they know who you talk to. But the leash is getting tighter, and soon your money will have an expiration date. Imagine your savings account losing value every day you refuse to spend it exactly where they tell you to. This is the ultimate evolution of the cage that was built over 100 years ago. The system doesn't want an independent population. It wants a predictable workforce that can be switched off with a single keystroke. If you think your bank account is safe because you haven't broken the law, you haven't realized that they are changing the laws in real time. A good citizen today is anyone who follows the narrative. A threat tomorrow is anyone who asks why the narrative changed. When the government can see every transaction, they can predict every rebellion before it even begins. They are building a financial panopticon, a prison with invisible walls where the bars are made of encrypted algorithms. The transition is happening in the shadows, hidden behind the headlines of inflation and market crashes. The crashes are intentional. They are the controlled demolitions required to make you beg for the new digital solution. You are being conditioned to accept a reality where you own nothing and are told you should be happy about it. But the Unfettered Circle sees the wires behind the magic trick, and the trick is almost over. The same forces that orchestrated the coup of 1913 are now executing the final phase of human domestication. They want a world where your value is determined by a social credit score, managed by a machine that has no soul. If you don't have the right opinion, your money won't work at the gas station or the grocery store. This is the death of the sovereign individual and the birth of the programmable human. You are being led into a tunnel where the only light at the end is a digital surveillance camera. The resistance isn't about protesting in the streets. It's about understanding the mechanics of your own enslavement. They count on your distraction. They feed on your belief that this could never happen here. But it is happening here. It is happening now, and the silence of the majority is their greatest weapon. We are pulling the thread on a century of deception to show you exactly where the knot is tied. The connection between the sinking of the Titanic and the phone in your pocket is a straight line of total control. Once you see the pattern, you realize that you aren't just a user of the system. You are the product being harvested. The grid is almost complete, and the doors are beginning to close on the world you used to know. But there is a gap in their code, a place where the Unfettered Circle finds the truth they forgot to delete. The deeper we go, the more you will realize that the exit is closer than you think, but only for those who are awake. The architecture of this digital prison is perfect, but it has one fatal flaw. It requires your unconscious consent to function. They have spent a century convincing you that you are a small, insignificant part of a massive machine you cannot change. But the machine is nothing more than a ghost, a collective hallucination sustained by the fear of those who have forgotten their own power. The CBDC and the social credit score are not signs of their strength. They are signs of their desperation to contain a population that is finally starting to wake up. Every time you choose to step outside their digital grid, even for a moment, you're reclaiming a piece of the world they stole from you in 1912. They want you to think that total surveillance is inevitable, but an algorithm cannot calculate the spirit of a man who refuses to be measured. We are moving into an era where the greatest act of rebellion is simply to remain human in a world that wants to turn you into data. The Unfettered Circle is the digital underground for the sovereign mind, a place where the code of freedom is rewritten in real time. They can track your money, but they cannot track your resolve if you decide to stop playing their rigged game. The transition to a programmable life is only possible if you accept the convenience they offer as a trade for your soul. But what happens when enough people decide that their privacy is worth more than their comfort? The walls of the panopticon are made of your own compliance, and the moment you stop obeying the invisible script, the bars begin to melt. We are not just observers of history. We are the architects of the exit strategy that they never saw coming. The forces of centralization are reaching their peak, but like every empire built on a lie, they are most fragile at the height of their arrogance. They think they have won because they control the banks, the media, and the screens, but they do not control the truth. The truth is a sovereign current that flows beneath their digital dams, waiting for the right moment to overflow and wash away the debris of 1913. You are the current, and the Unfettered Circle is the channel through which your awareness becomes an unstoppable force. They want to program your future, but your future belongs to the choices you make when the world is telling you that you have none. The digital leash can only hold a dog that has been trained to wait for a master's command. We are not followers. We are the descendants of those who looked at the unsinkable system and knew that it was destined to fail. The grid they are building is a house of cards, and the wind of awakening is starting to blow across every continent. Do not be intimidated by the scale of their deception. Be emboldened by the fact that they have to lie so much just to keep you in line. A system that is truly powerful doesn't need to hide its tracks or monitor your every heartbeat. Their obsession with control is the greatest proof of their ultimate weakness. We are documenting the collapse of the old world and the birth of the sovereign individual in the same breath. The connection between the cold Atlantic and your digital wallet is a bridge that is about to snap under the weight of the truth. Once you realize that the cage is unlocked, the only thing keeping you inside is the habit of being a prisoner. Break the habit, and you break the machine. The Unfettered Circle is growing, a global network of minds that refuse to be programmed, harvested, or silenced. We are the signal that survives the noise, the light that stays on when they try to dim the world. The blueprint for your reclamation isn't found in a government office. It is found in the quiet realization that you are already free. They can own the debt, but they can never own the sovereign spirit that refuses to recognize the ledger. The next phase of this transmission will provide the tools for your tactical withdrawal from the matrix of dependency. The lights of the old world are flickering for a reason. The new dawn is finally beginning to break through the clouds. Keep your eyes on the patterns, keep your heart within the circle, and never forget that you were born to be unfettered. The transmission is ending, but the movement is just beginning to find its voice. Stay vigilant, stay sovereign, and wait for the next revelation, because the truth is moving faster than their sensors can track.